Sports, 100% reflective. Sometimes it's Raven. Sometimes it's other teams affected. Hold on tight, strap in. It's gonna get hectic. Couch Rider Report. An original sports perspective. Hey, welcome back to the home of original sports perspective from our couch to yours. This is your couch rider, Raven Jermaine Lockett. Thanks for coming back through and appreciate y'all. Those of y'all who have been subscribed and stuck with me all through the twerking it for subs and everything else. Hey, thank you so much. Those of you who just got here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and smack that bell so you know when it's going down. Let's get down to business. Y'all saw the title. Hollywood Brown can't catch, right? Wrongo. Look, the man's only had 2 drops on the season, and some of the most premier receivers in the league have dropped the ball at least 2 times this year. He had 2 big drops that we thought were going to be touchdowns, and that's why we were so hot. I know a lot of y'all were just sitting there talking about the guy pretty bad. He even caught it bad from his own mom once he got off of the field. His mother said it was unacceptable. He knows. He understands all the heat that is going to be brought on Twitter when he has these drops and he holds himself to a high standard. The man will do better. Trust, believe that. And then take a look at the other wide receivers in the league. They got drops. Some of the biggest names in the league have had 2 or more drops. And I'm talking about Sammy Watkins himself, Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Corey Davis, Chase Claypool, A.J. Brown, Devontae Parker, and Keenan Allen have all had more than 2 drops this season, or had 2 or more drops this season, with Keenan Allen leading the bunch with 4 drops. But of course, he got like 44 targets as well. Hollywood, on his drops, I think he was about 28 targets. But there were others who had equal amount of targets as Hollywood, and they had 2 or more drops. So I want you to think about that going forward. Those 2 drops, they were big ones because it looked like they could be touchdowns. It could have been 6 because Lamar put the ball perfectly where it needed to be. But we will recover. Absolutely. So I want everybody to quit hating on Hollywood. This guy is a true number 1 wide receiver. The chemistry that he has with Lamar has shown that, and he's way above a few of the names on this list here when it comes to yards per catch. He's in the top 10 of yards per catch in the league as far as wide receivers go. With 17.2 yards per catch, he is above Kenny Galladay, Julio, AJ Green, Sammy Watkins, Tyler Lockett, my cousin, DK Metcalf, AB, Tyreek, and Dig. I just want you to think about the amount of drops that he had throughout his career. Last year in 2020, he had 6 total drops. The year before that, he had 2 drops. Granted, he had a lot of injuries, but he had 2 drops on the season. And he has 2 drops right now. It's a little early. Maybe there's more drops to come, but there's probably going to be a lot more targets too because it looks like this passing attack is opening up. G-Ro recognizes that there has to be a balance, and he is definitely pushing towards a 50-50 balance when it comes to running and passing on this Ravens offense. So, of course, the haters are quiet. We are super quiet. And I say we because I had an opportunity to throw a little shade, and I did, and I apologize. When it came to Hollywood Brown, I think I threw some shade on a lunch break hot take. Good show. Go check it out. When they talked about score predictions, I thought I was going to say 31-15, but I ended up saying 24-15 and put because Hollywood might have another touchdown drop. I don't know. Hoping that doesn't happen, but just saying I was just doing a little prediction and throwing a little shade out there. And I might have thrown some other shade on one of our other Facebook pages, such as like We Are the Ravens Flock. That's a pretty good page. I'll go ahead and check that one out. I threw some shade on there saying they should return his name back to Marquise instead of Hollywood. Okay, I was just a little emotional. I got a little ticked off about the whole thing with the drop in the game. But hey, he came back big. He showed up big time. This guy's one of the fastest wide receivers in the league. And he's got 2 sidekicks that also are extremely fast. And I'm talking about Sammy Watkins and I'm talking about Devin Duvernay. Both of them reached 21 miles per hour this season with their plays, whether it be a punt return or whether it was a big-time catch over 40 yards. Hollywood, Devin Duvernay, and Watkins all went above 21 miles an hour. But before we start talking about the other wide receivers, what I want you to focus on is another fun fact here. Here's a list of guys that Baltimore has checked out over the last 2 seasons and I say Baltimore, I mean Ravens flock. We have been gushing over these wide receivers for the last 2 seasons, and I wanted to show you where he stands, or Hollywood stands, compared to these other wide receivers. So Hollywood has 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, let's look at the list of the other guys here. We got Diggs with 305 yards and 1 touchdown. Kenny Galladay, we were gushing over him during the offseason. You know, he thought Baltimore was on the phone with him and everything, trying to see what type of deal he was trying to get. And yeah, they overpaid for that dude. 282 yards and 0 touchdowns this year with New York. Then you got Nuke Hopkins, 225 yards and 3 TDs. Yes, he's playing with basically the 2021 MVP front runner in Kyler Murray, so he's going to be balling. Plus, Hopkins just balls with whoever. So yeah, amazing guy. But Hollywood still got him by a couple of yards. Then there's Julio. Julio has been inactive last Sunday, and he still got 204 yards, but he doesn't have a touchdown on the season. I'm glad Baltimore didn't go for him. Y'all was mad at me when I was saying, hey, we can't afford it and it's just not worth it. Look at it. Is it worth it now? He's injured, and he ain't got no touchdown on the season. Hollywood is just fine. Bateman is just fine. Go look at the previous video I did with a comparison of we got Julio at home, where I actually show that Bateman has the ability to run similar routes and have explosive plays just like Julio. Y'all probably still like, man, he tripping. I can't believe he ain't played a play yet. You still thinking he's going to do all that? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I got high hopes. He's got high hopes. I'm not going to finish the song, but I really, it's on my mind now. It's stuck on my mind. Anywho, A.J. Brown. Remember in the draft, everybody was like, "Oh, why didn't we go for A.J. Brown? Why didn't we go for A.J. Brown when we could have went for him over Hollywood? Or why didn't we get DK Metcalf?" Hollywood has, like I said, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. A.J. Brown has 92 yards, 1 touchdown. Oh, here's another one. Everybody wanted us to go to AB's court date, support the guy, and then go ahead and sign him. AB has 201 yards and 1 touchdown. Granted, there's a lot of mouths to feed in Tampa Bay, but that's his stats right now, and it's not as good as his cousin, Hollywood Brown. So our wide receivers are having a decent year because the passing attack is looking good. Looking real good, folks. I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a Raven because we do more than run the ball now. This is awesome. Always been a big fan of the wide receivers and always rooted for even the no-name wide receivers in Baltimore. But now that they have household names, it seems like now, what are they going to do when Rashad Bateman returns to the fold for his first game, which probably should be Monday night against the Indianapolis Colts? Well, I had to take a look at the snap count. Harbaugh said he wants to just win. He wants to have the best production out of those guys as possible and go from there. Which sound like, yeah, they got a plan. They just don't reveal it. You know how he is with his coach talk. What I got out of that was, hey, Jermaine, you need to go ahead and take a look at the stats and see how or what percentage can be taken away from each player to get Rashad Bateman into the mix. This has been a heated discussion in the Let the Black Man Talk Twitter feed about who's going to be inactive and who's going to start and who's going to get their reps taken away, all this good stuff. So I came up with a solution here. So basically, it's around 65 snaps a game these wide receivers get to take, or at least a portion of that. 68 total snaps per game. Of course, Hollywood, he gets about 67%, 67.5% of those snaps. Sammy gets about 81% of those snaps. Let's see. Prochet got about 18 on average. He had an uptick against Denver where he really flourished there. So you might see his production stay exactly the same. I'm not going to say go up because there has been another star wide receiver inserted into this mix here, and I'll go through that in just a second. Duvernay was getting about 52% of the snaps throughout the season, through 4 weeks. And then Wallace, it was ugly, folks. He had 2 snaps through 4 games. 2 snaps through 4 games. Yeah, it's bad, folks. 0.5% is what he is getting currently. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, they're going to have to call Wallace up, sit him down, and let them know, hey, due to us bringing up 2 wide receivers, we are going to make you inactive on game days for a while until an injury happens or something. You know how these guys are with hamstrings and all this stuff. Knock on wood, it's not going to happen, or hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does, Wallace should be recognizing that he needs to be ready. Good times. So here is my suggestion when it comes to these snaps. I say Hollywood, he goes down from 67.5% down to 60%. Sammy goes down to 60% instead of having his 81%. Prochet stays the same, gets his 18. Duvernay gets about 20% instead of his 50-some%, 52. And then you insert Bateman in with 30% and Boykin in with 27.5%. You're like, what? Wait a minute. Hold up. How does Boykin get 27.5? Yes. Hang on. Just a second. Y'all know the boy's skill set. His skill set is that of a blocker. He is a very good blocker. And that's why I think Baltimore kept him on the team, is because his ability to block. Now, if you take that ability to block, you're going to need him on the field a lot if we're running a decent amount of the time. So 27.5% is low for this guy because Baltimore runs. They do run. And until this year, they were a full-on running team. One of the top-tier running teams in the league. Breaking rushing records, everything. So what's that look like snap-wise? So I'll go ahead and give you the numbers. Instead of Hollywood having 46 snaps on the field, he's going to go down to about 33, 34 snaps. Sammy's going to get about, 45 snaps. He's down from 57 or 56. Prochet, like I say, his production stays exactly the same as what it was. So he's getting anywhere from 7 to 15 snaps a game is what Prochet is probably going to get. And then you have Duvernay, who is going to go down significantly. He's going down significantly because, like I said, if you putting it together, which one's better? Is it Prochet? Is it Duvernay? Or is it Bateman? You have to recognize where you're going to put this guy in once he comes back, because he is a talented wide receiver and can make this passing attack even better. So like I said, Duvernay goes down about 32%. He's going to get 20% of the snaps. So he's looking at about 13.7 snaps per game. Then you have Bateman coming in, and he's going to snatch up all of that extra snaps, or at least some of that. And he's going to get about 21 snaps a game, with Boykin coming in and saying, all right, look, let me get mine too. I need to get mine. So about 18 snaps a game. It's decent. It's a good plan to roll with, to where everybody gets to eat, everybody gets to come to the table, unless your name is Wallace. I'm sorry. That's just how it all rolls out. And I think that Baltimore is going to do just fine going forward with the receiving core that they have, as long as everybody stays healthy, stays away from those crazy chair rides, unless their hamstrings are ready to handle that. I just don't know. But I like to see the twitch. I can't wait to see the air attack on Monday. Of course, I want to see the ground game as well. I want to see Williams. I want to see Tyson Williams come back in and blow it up, because he did nothing wrong. Harbaugh said, hey, he's done nothing wrong. We just want to see what Le'Veon Bell look like. But it's all about the passing attack for me right now and in this post here. But this is the home of original sports perspective. From our couch to yours. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and smack that bell so you know when it's going down. 2 claps, fade to black.